And there it is. There we go, guys. So we're recording now. So this fun and freaky Fran's fabulous fact for Friday has to do with something that's occurring tomorrow. This was reported in Earth Sky News, but originally from another website, timeanddate.com. And they said that tomorrow, so 7/8/23, at exactly 11:15 Universal Time, which would be 7:15 our time, I actually checked that on the computer, 99% of the world's population will be in daylight, including twilight. They included twilight in that. Isn't that interesting? 99% of the world's population will see daylight tomorrow morning at 7:15. So the scientists were like, what? They saw this video, and by the way, you can see the video on if you go on Earth Sky News. And so they checked it. And sure enough, they said this occurs not only tomorrow, but actually is occurring and has kind of a bell curve been occurring since like March, and will occur into August. So yeah, only Australia, Antarctica, parts of Southeast Asia, and New Zealand will be in Earth's nighttime. So that is 7/8/23 at 7:15 in the morning. So that is your short-term memory recall, Fran's fabulous fun fact for Friday. And by the way, I told my group this morning that if they could think of another F word that was clean to put in that, that I'd give them a prize. I knew that would get a chuckle out of you. All right, so balance challenge to start. And we're going to start with a dynamic challenge and then progress to our Romberg today. We're going to switch it up a little bit. All right, so have your chair handy. Make sure your area is clear, please. And we're ready to begin. So of course, dynamic balance challenge requires movement. So have your chair, but use your counter if you need to. What we're going to do is a tandem walk. Now, if this is too hard for you, you're just going to do a wide tandem. So step one foot directly in line with the other foot, but approximately, 6, 8, 12 inches apart, and then repeat. Now, if that feels pretty easy for you and you don't feel any tippy or stabilizing action occurring, then go ahead and butt your heels right up to your toes. Give yourself plenty of room going forward and backwards. I'm running out of Zoom area here, camera area, so I'm heading backwards and I'm going to be heading forward again. You can cross your arms across your chest to progress the balance challenge and not use your arms for stabilization. Or if that's too difficult for you, feel free to keep your arms out by your side and, of course, ready to grab that chair should you need it at any time. And we'll do this for about 30 seconds or so, which I'm sure we are well over that. Wonderful. Good. Good. Now, we're going to progress that. We're going to pretend that there's a big object, a rock or a log in front of us. Now, remember, as we progress it, if you step wider with your feet further apart, it will be a little bit easier for you because that will increase your base of support. So stepping up over a log or a large rock, because we're hiking through the woods now, okay? And if that's easy for you, then step over your object and go into your inline tandem. Try to make sure that your feet are staying in line, right? If you turn your back foot out, for example, that would make your base of support wider. There you go. Good job, actually. And challenge yourself so you do. I'm glad that you did lose your balance. That's a great thing because then you get to practice those recovery techniques, those balance strategies. Okay, great. Next, we're going to go right into our Romberg. So let's go into our tandem stance. So a lot of tandem stances today. Arms across the chest. We'll close our eyes and I'll count you down from 20. All right, now, Daryl, you've got sunglasses on, so I can't tell if your eyes are closed or not. So you're just going to have to, honor system. It's all good. You can keep them on. since you're out on that beautiful deck. All right, guys, here we go. Closing our eyes now. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we'll switch. Closing our eyes. From 15, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Great. That concludes our balance work, but now we have our fun cognitive challenge, capitalizing on our cognitive challenge from Wednesday. Feel free to have a few laughs with this one, because it really is kind of tricky. Now, we've already learned the hand jive. We practiced that on Wednesday, right? Does anybody recall what the hand jive was? Les, you got the first part. What was after the push? Yeah, one clap, Daryl. Push, clap. Then 2 slap. That's it, Wendy. 2 slaps, then 2 claps, right? Push, clap, 2 slaps, clap, clap. Now I know you guys didn't do your homework. Busted. Here we go. Push, clap, 2 and 2. Good, let's speed it up. You're on your own. Speed it up. I'm watching. Go, Daryl. Woo! Daryl's flying. I'm sorry, now I distracted her and she messed it all up. Good, good, good. Okay. All right. You guys got it. Some of you do push, clap, clap. That's okay. It's all right. Trust me, it's going to get more difficult when we add the cognitive. Yeah, you know this already. Okay. So, just like we did on Wednesday, though, we rehearsed this. So you've actually learned this process. We're going to count up in increments of 1, okay, with every movement. So, for example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right? Let me see you counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Beautiful. Okay. Now, counting backwards from 8 to 1. Somebody this morning, they actually found, they were like, why is it easier? I'm like, I don't know. Downhill? I don't know. All right, here we go. 8, 7. Let me see your mouths move. I want to see at least lip sync. Okay. Okay. So then you start to mess up the hand jive, right? Like something that you think you know so well. Okay. Let's progress this. 2 by 2s. So 2, 4. Okay, good. So some of you waited for me to get through the first round before you started. That's fine. I just gave you the first couple numbers. All right. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to give you the first couple numbers. We're going to go backwards by 2. Ready? 16, 14. It's not so easy, is it? Right, so you start pausing. Yeah, you start pausing, suddenly you can't remember what comes after 14, for example. Actually, this morning, I totally missed the number 10. I skipped right over it. I'm like, wait a minute, 0 wasn't in there. Okay, so yeah, okay, we're gonna progress this again. All right, we're gonna add an additional motor skill. So we'll re-simplify the number increments, but we're gonna add an additional motor skill, okay? So keep your hand jive. You already know this, right? All right, let's just combine the motors. So all you're gonna do is march in place. Okay, I'm gonna give you a count. Let's add the hand jive. 5, 6, 7, 8. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Backwards. Great, great. So a lot harder, right? Even in increments of 1, just by adding that additional motor skill. That's amazing. Remember, guys, these things help train the entire brain, that motor cortex, the whole executive command, the processing, the speed of the processing, all of that stuff, making all those new brain connections, those new neuronal connections, so important. And by the way, you're still moving and you're getting some movement, and it's better than sitting on the couch eating Doritos, right? Okay, so from here, guys, we're gonna go into our cardio. Simple but effective. Feel free to use this to your advantage. I hope you have your fan on like I do. I hope you have your water handy by. Please drink at any time. And if you feel too hot, feel free to slow it down. Let me just check my steps, because we have simplified this today, and I'm hoping that we get a couple thousand steps in. All right, I've got 6,250 steps already today, so we're gonna add to that and see what we get. If I forget, remind me, okay? Alrighty, I hope the volume's okay. Give me a thumbs up if it is. Can you hear me? Beautiful. Thank you, Les. Thank you, Valerie. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay. Starting with a march in place. Pump those arms like you mean it. Lift those knees like you mean it, like you mean business. We're going to take this march forward and back. On 5, 6, 7, bring it forward. 1, 2, 3, tap. Take it back. And forward. And back. Awesome. Simple arms, chest press. Keeping time with the feet. Perfect. One more time. Overhead press. Good. Keep your arms slightly forward. You want to see your upper arms in your peripheral vision. One more time. Pressing forward again. You're very familiar with this arm pattern. A lot of push presses today. And down. Good. Back forward. Overhead press. Good. Chest press. Good. And press down. And of course, if we were pulling, this would be an upright row. Good. Let's cut it in half. Forward. And up. Forward. And down. Now without my verbal, but my visual. And forward. Now up. just cut it in half again, and down, and again. Perfect. Let's do that 2 more times, all the way through. So that'd be 1 more time all the way through, guys. And guess what? We get to cut this in half again. And so the fun begins. Here we go, singles. Now you know this pattern. We're just gonna use this and add on. The beginning of our first pattern. 1 more time. Come home and do a step touch here. We're going to be changing this step touch to a step knee, if you like. Here we go. Changing the rhythm now. Single, single, double. Single, single, double. Try that again. Good, you look like you've all got it. Good, march it out. Okay, that's the second part of our first pattern. So let's put that together with our march, our hustle march and arms. On 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. And again, forward. Good, single, single, double now with a knee. That's it. Forward and back. Again, please. You got it. Single, single, double. Add a chest press. Adding on. Forward and back. Again. Single, single, double. And repeat. 1 more time, and then we're going to add on again. But notice how when you take it 1 step at a time, literally 1 thing at a time, it all comes together and you can coordinate it. Good, hold it here. Step touch. Good. 4 more. 2 steps. Again. Good. Step touch. Lateral raise. Working on part 2 now. 2 steps. Good. So step touch. Let's cut it in half. And 2 steps. Step touch. Adding on arms with our 2 step. Low row. Step touch. Just keep your elbows below your shoulder level to help minimize the chance of any impingement. Keep your shoulders drawn back. Try not to hunch. That's hard on your shoulder joint. And 2 steps. So part 2 right here in a nutshell. 1 more time. Great. We're going to march it out. I'm going to give you a verbal preview of what we're going to do next. We're going to combine part 1 and part 2 all together and make this a wonderful choreographed routine. I'm waiting on the music, and I'll count you down slow from 5. Here we go. We're up. 5, 6, 7, and 8. Here we go. Repeat. Second part of part 1. All right, we're on to part 2, guys. We just learned it, so it seems a little easier, right? Step touch. Great, back to part 1 from the top, gang. Repeat. Here we go. Moving on to part 2. It repeats twice. Excellent. All the way through 2 more times, guys. I want you now that you know this, I want you to use it. Power up. Do what you got to do to make it feel somewhat hard on a physical sense. You know the moves now. Utilize them to your advantage. You're doing great. Hang in. One more time, all the way through. Part 1. On to part 2 we go. And remember, this repeats twice. So I'm asking you to recall, right? Good. March it out right here. I'm going to give you a verbal preview of what's going to happen next, because it's going to be a little bit of a tricky spot in that we're going to be switching leads. So I'm going to cut this whole thing, part 1 and part 2, in half. So you'll be going up and back one time only. Single, single, double with the knees, one time only. And therein lies the tricky part, because when we do that single, single, double, it's going to switch your lead. And then you'll be doing your step touch starting on the opposite lead. All right? You guys good? Was that clear? Les says, let's do it. Les says, I'm good. You guys good? Yeah, Les, nobody else is showing. Nobody. Okay, let's go. Let's run it through. I got your back. Here we go. Single, single, double. Step touch now. You're on your right lead. 2 step. From the top, right lead, forward. Hi, yeah. Lot going on now. You're on your left lead for this part 2. So notice how that double step causes that lead switch. And so you do the other part on the opposite side. Oh yes, I am purposefully distracting you. I am purposefully not verbally cueing you to make you process a little more and to distract you. Right lead. You guys are good. I can't trick you. You're right there every step of the way. I love it. From the top, left lead. Right here comes the big switch. There it is. Part 2. You're on the opposite lead. We got to take it from the top on that lead. Look at all that stuff that you're coordinating. You're pretty amazing. I just want you to know that. From the top, left lead. I want you to feel successful with this. Like, this is tricky, but I got this. Because you do. Working on the brain and the brawn, right? One more time, guys, all the way through. Both sides, though. We got to do both leads, right? Finishing it out now on your right lead from the top. Beautiful, 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 beautiful job. March it out. Now, I don't usually break for water, but it's like 90 already. And I want you guys to drink some water because I don't think you're drinking enough water. So cheers to you on this gorgeous Friday morning. Happy Friday. Cheers. Okay, gang. We're going to start with a step touch and a two-step and a step touch and a two-step. Different arms, we're going to row on the step touch. On the two-step, I want you to wax off, or wax on, wax off. And again. Now that you know this, we're going to take this show on the road. You ready? Step touch, moving forward. Hold it here. Wax on, wax off. Step touch, moving backward. Wax on, wax off. So it starts to get a little fancy, huh? You're beautiful. You're doing great. You guys are all so big on my screen today. It's wonderful. I can see more of you. No, it's a good thing now. It's a good thing. I love it. Okay, get ready for a change up. Step touch up. Wax on, wax off, but move it back. Oh yeah, now it gets super fancy. Feels more like a dance, doesn't it? It's that kind of day. Good, we're gonna do this 2 more times. Feel free to kick it up a notch if you want to, literally. Oh yeah. If you will, to make it a little more progressive, you have that option. You know your options. You know your options better than I do at this point. It's been how many years? Think about how many years. Yeah, a lot of years. We've been doing this. This is wonderful. And the whole original group is here. That's pretty remarkable. We're just going to keep all those newbies from busting out. We miss our Meredith. Great. Hold it right here. Hold it right here. Hamstring curl. Good. Little calf raise. Hamstring curl. Little calf raise. Snow angel arms. Beautiful. We're going to do that 2 more times. This will help loosen you up a little bit. So simple for you right at this point. You guys are so good. This kind of stuff is easy peasy. We're going to be working with our bands today. I hope you all have your bands. Or you could improvise. I remember Daryl used a bathing suit once. That was wonderful. When she was on an island. That was so cool. Hey, where there's a will, there's a way. That bathing suit probably wasn't, yeah, no, it didn't make the cut. Yeah. All right, guys, please grab your bands. Please have your chair ready. Deadlifts today, squats. What else did I have on my agenda for today? Some rowing, definitely some back work. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Little lunging, little reverse fly, little tricep action. Oh, boy, we got a lot to do. We better get going. you're ready, but we're going to start with deadlifts. So we're going to stand on our bands. Let me back up and adjust my camera so that you can see my setup on my feet a little better here. All right. This heavy band is going right under my foot, right under the arch of my foot. Watch this. I'm going to secure that plastic handle on the outside of my foot. I'm going to make sure that my feet are even, right? So one foot's not forward, although you actually could squat that way if you wanted to change it up a little bit. But my feet are even. They're a little bit wider than hip width apart. I'm going to think about practicing that good posture, you know, shoulders back, airway open, abs already braced to hold us there. You can probably even feel your glutes if you stand up straight. That's a good thing. All right, so now watch what I do. I'm going to loop my band. I just made an X across my floor with my band. I'm in my hip hinge position. So, head looking down at the ground. I've got my grip on my band nice and tight. I'm actually going to choke up a little bit. There we go. Buttocks are pulled back. Knees are not bent too much. They're a little bit soft. And here we go. I'm going to stand all the way up, keeping firm stance on my band. All right? Now, I'm going to turn profile because I want you to see something. I want you to see the line of my back because this is super important with the deadlift. All right, so the first thing I do is that hip hinge. See that? Keep my knees soft, especially if I have tight hamstrings. I'm going to keep those knees flexed a little bit. That's going to help me. Now, as I push that butt back, if my hamstrings are wicked tight, at this point, I may feel quite a stretch, in which case I would bend them a little more and keep going down, if I can, until my back is pretty well parallel to the floor, okay? Now, my hamstrings are super flexible, so I can pretty much straighten my knees, stick my butt back there, and lengthen my spine, and I'm all good. But notice how the core is braced, how the shoulders are packed a little bit, and feel broad across the top of your back. Here we stand up, pulling all the way up, squeezing those buttocks a little bit at the top of the movement, and then back down we go. So there's that hip hinge, parallel to the floor. I want you to look at the floor. Don't look at your monitor. I don't want you to hurt your neck. Just straighten up like your mom told you. And then hip hinge to reverse. Straighten up. Hip hinge to reverse. And again, remember with that hip hinge, the trajectory of the buttocks is back, and the trajectory of the spine is long and strong with those neutral, beautiful S curves. Your spine is an amazing thing. It really is. The design is quite phenomenal. I wish I could take the credit for designing your spine, but I can't take that credit. Good, let's keep going, guys. Abs braced, shoulders braced. Everything's braced. Glutes are contracting. Right here, go for that stretch. Just a little bit of mouth tension and up we go. And again. Soft knees and deadlift. Good. I have no idea what number we're on. Are we close to 15 yet, Susan? Yes, Susan says yes. Let's do one more. Can you? Don't you love it when I challenge you? All right, great. Okay. We're going to follow that deadlift up with a squat. Oh, yeah. Heavy glute day. It's leg day. Woohoo! Get psyched. All right. Feet about hip width apart. Right in front of your chair, right, for safety. Now, if you have trouble with your balance, I would actually not put my chair in the middle of the room. I would put my chair up against the wall so that it can't move behind me if I happen to land backwards in it really hard, right? I would not want your chair to move. All right, everybody, hike your band up, all the way up. Get a max tension on it. Here we go. Down and up. So we're getting that hip hinge, buttocks back and down. Think of that. Send that booty back behind you. Notice how it turns those abdominals on. Feel that whole entire foot tripod. Super important. I should have said that first, because you don't want that band snapping up. There's a ton of tension on it. Which reminds me, get in the habit of checking your bands before or after class. Any tears or weakness in that band right now could really, well, that might hurt. We want to minimize our risk while we maximize our strength and endurance gains, right? Are we at 15 yet? No. Susan says no. Thank you, Susan, for keeping us honest. Just give me the high when we are. One more? Okay, great job. Thank you, Susan. Okay, next. Still working on legs, guys, because it's that kind of day. We're going to place this band around our chest. Right around the bra line for us ladies, and of course, you know, Les, right under the shoulder blades for you. Wonder how Dawn's making out with his stove, by the way. I'm going to move my chair. I want that well out of the way. We are going to be lunging. Again, if you have trouble with your balance, you may want to keep your chair beside you so that you can grab it, or at least use your counter so that you can grab that. We are going to be lunging, and you know that wide staggered stance. So remember, with your lunge, giant step, you're going to land on the heel of your foot, then touch the ball of your foot down, and then your toes. Naturally, it happens a little quicker than that, but we want to stick that landing softly. All right? So let's just work on just the lunge. Heel, ball, toe. Look at the wide angles here. Greater than 90 degrees, push back. Good. The back knee comes close to the floor, but it doesn't have to touch. Okay, same side. Heel, ball, toe. And big push back. Good. Now we're going to switch sides, and I'm going to turn and face the camera. Switching sides, heel, ball, toe, just the lunge. Get that lunge form down, big push back. And again, good, core nice and strong. Great. Okay, yeah, so we've had the chance to just simplify it, work on just the lunge, the major portion of it. Now, if you had trouble with your balance at that point, do not add the chest press to it. You can just hold the band if you want and have it ready so that when you feel comfortable, you can also employ the chest press. I'm going to add the chest press to my lunge now. Again, that is an option for you. Elbows are up, out at the shoulder, cactus position, parallel to the floor. Forearms parallel to the floor. Upper arms at a slight angle so there's no pinching in the shoulder or hiking up of the shoulder, right? No shy turtles today. We're all very gregarious. Good. Braced abdominals. Here we go. Left side. Lunge. And back. And again. Lunge. And back. Good. Give yourself plenty of time. I'm going to choke up a little bit because I don't have quite enough resistance. And I want to fatigue in 15 reps or less. And at this point in my training, I like to fatigue in 10 reps or less. Just approaching more on that strength end of the continuum. Although there's something to be said for muscular endurance. As a half marathon runner, I gotta tell you, it's all good. Keep going. So this is a progression from Wednesday's lunge in which we alternated legs. Today we're doing one complete set on one side, We will rest for 30 seconds, and we will complete our lunge on the other side. Good. And I think we have about 3 more. But you know me. I'm so busy cueing and educating, I'm not counting. All right, here we go. So I'm gonna give you 30 seconds rest here. Just check my clock. Keep moving. Yeah, grab some water. You got 30 seconds. Still working on that 30 seconds. We have 5 seconds to go, guys. Then we're gonna work on this right side. Your right side, my left side. Okay, it's time. Here we go. And you'll notice too, I do not rush these. I take my time. This is huge movement. I need time to think about what I'm doing. And there are lots of parts and pieces involved in this. And we want them to be tight, right? All those nuts and bolts, we want them tight so we don't fall apart. You're doing great. Hang in. Do what you can. Now, if you fatigue in 10 reps or less, guys, don't fear that. Don't worry about that. That is not a failure. That is actually a success if you're training for strength. Because that's that strength end, the kind of the strength middle of the continuum, right? So you have power on one end, strength in the middle, and then of course endurance on the other end of that continuum. Keep going. You're doing great. How are your shoulders? Aren't you glad I gave you that 30 seconds rest? Yes, many of you have given up holding the elbows up. Many of you, your elbows are down here. That's fine. That is fine. We weren't working the delts, but they are, as you can tell, very heavily contributing to that exercise. All right, so we've done deadlifting, which is a pulling exercise. We've done squats. We've done a lunge with a chest press, which is a lunge with a pushing exercise. And now we're gonna do another pulling exercise. So we're gonna do the low row with the band from the chair. Remember, for safety, we're gonna wrap the foot and crisscross it so it can't come off your foot. We're also going to flex the foot deeply. And again, this is one exercise where if you have any breaks or fissures in your bands, this could be dangerous because that band could snap up and hit you right in the face. So that you want to avoid at all costs. And for that very reason, this move is actually kind of controversial. However, if you practice safety, you can accomplish this and minimize your risk of injury. All right, so my feet are deeply flexed. My band is wrapped right around my arch. I am choked up so tightly that band is not moving. It is actually like cutting into the edge of my sneaker, which is one of the reasons why we need to check these regularly. I'm sitting up tall, my arms are straight, like I'm wielding a team of wild horses. Here we go. Pull on the reins and release. Sitting nice and tall, I want to be sure about a couple things. I'm on the edge of my chair, number one. My abs are braced and fixed so that my spine is supported in a neutral position. That will help me keep my shoulders nice and straight, which will help me keep my neck nice and upright and in its natural S-curves. try to avoid looking down, because that will cause a forward head tilt or lean and put lots of stress on your neck. And we don't want that right now. We want the upper back and neck, that big muscle that wraps from the base of your skull down into your shoulders and then into your back, into your spine, way down low, that trapezius, that trapezoid. We want that to be able to contract without elevating, right? We want retraction right now. Good. I like to get a little traction by pulling my abdominal muscles in and up, but not arching my back. Just kind of lengthening the spine helps me squeeze a little more deeply into the shoulder blade area. I think that's 15. Okay. Whatever it was, my arms and my shoulders were beginning to get a little tired, so that's good. All right. So another pulling exercise. We're going to stand for this next one. You could also sit and do it if you choose to, but I like to get you up off your butt so we're not pinching all those muscles and nerves and all that blood supply to your upper and lower body. Super important, particularly after exercise. We need that venous return, right? And we also need it to help cool us, right? We talked about the whole water pump thing on Wednesday. All right, so I'm standing tall. My knees are soft. See, I can shimmy. My knees are soft. My shoulders are, arms are elevated, but my shoulders aren't elevated, okay? My shoulders are resting on the shelf of the rib cage. I love that cue. Here we go. We're going to pull that band apart. Going to try to keep my arms straight, and as I pull, I'm going to squeeze my shoulder blades together. But as I do this, I'm going to be cautious not to arch my back, okay? I want to stay nice and tall and upright. Squeeze those shoulder blades together without compromising my posture. So wider stance, if that's easier for you. Just make sure your trunk muscles are braced and stabilizing you. And then work those middle back muscles to your advantage. Do what you can, and again, if you fatigue before 15 repetitions are done, there's no harm in that. You could keep working on the endurance if you choose to. You could switch to a lighter band. Or you could take a rest and do another set. In the interest of time, we only have time for one set. Susan says, that's a wrap. Okay, guys, we need to stretch. All right. We did a little bit of calf work at the end of our cardio, but every time you were doing propulsion, your calves were contracting. So we're going to start with a calf stretch, and with our calf stretch, we're going to add some upper body stretches. So I'm standing in my wide tandem stance. All 10 toes are facing forward here. I've got a nice straight line from the crown of my head to the back of my heel, which is connected to the floor. That's super important. So take 1 second to make that connection between the heel and the floor. Interlace your hands behind you and pull your chin slightly back. So especially if you're tight, you're going to want to lean forward or hang your head. So I'm going to have you pull your chin back a tiny bit, brace your abs, and now if you can, roll your arm bone back. So just roll that humeral head back in that socket. And then if you want a progressive stretch, you can lift your hands away from your backside. So again, abs are braced, straight line from the head to the heel, heel connected to the floor, upper arm bone rolled back as best you can. Hold that stretch. So I told you we were going to work the triceps today, guys, and we ran out of time. so we couldn't. So I'm sorry. I'll get that in on Wednesday. How's that? We'll make that up on Wednesday. All right. Again, turning to the other side now. All 10 toes facing forward. Shoulder stretch. Arm out to the side. Bring it straight across the body. Hook your other arm underneath it. Draw the shoulder down with your arm. Hold that stretch. I'm going to have you come out of your calf stretch. Stand in a square stance. Continue to hold your shoulder stretch, please. Good. From here, gently tip your ear toward your opposite shoulder. So away from your stretching arm. Hold that stretch. And I took you out of that wide tandem stance because I did not want balance to be a factor for you. I just wanted you to enjoy that upper trapezius lengthening. Great. We're going to switch to the other side. So bring the arm out and across the body. Hook the other arm down. Pull it down gently. And that'll prevent that elevated shoulder girdle, right? We pull it down, right? We brace it. And then stretch that shoulder. If you've been washing a lot of windows or maybe you've done a car wash, a fundraising car wash, and your shoulders are tired, try doing these stretches. This one and this one. You could even do this one, right? That will feel really good. All right, everybody, grab your mats. We're going to hit the floor. I want to stretch out your glutes, your lower back, your hamstrings, and your quadriceps. So we'll be starting on our backs. And again, this can also be done in your chair. Starting with our lumbar and glute stretch. Simple knee hug, gentle like, going for mild to moderate tension. Take some nice deep breaths, relax, and congratulate yourself on a job well done. Congratulate yourself for just showing up today. Great. I'm going to release both legs. I'm going to place one foot on the floor. I'm going to hook my ankle across my knee. Now I'm going to hug the whole unit in, figure 4 stretch for the glutes and those deep gluteal muscles. You can intensify this stretch by pressing your forearm or elbow into your thigh, further opening the hip joint on the stretch side, your upper leg. I'm going to place that foot down. I'm going to stretch my upper leg up, extending my leg. You can relax your foot. You can point your toe, or you can flex your foot. Switch to the other side. So starting with that gluteal stretch. We ran out of stretch music, so I had to change the song so we don't get in trouble. All right. From here, we're going to plant the foot, extend one leg up, hold that stretch, stretching the hamstrings. From here, guys, I want you to roll over gently, easily onto your side, and then come forward onto your front side. Rest your head on the back of your hand or arm or on your mat, and slowly draw the heel of your foot toward your buttocks to stretch the quadriceps. Try to make sure that your buttocks don't elevate up in the air or pop up toward your ceiling. All right, guys, let's finish on the other side. I want to thank you for your wonderful participation today. I want you again to congratulate yourselves on a job well done. When you come up from your prone position, I want you to get up slowly and carefully so that you don't get dizzy. And then meet me at your monitor. Great job, everyone.
Thank you, Fran.
My pleasure. I'm going to go ahead and hit stop record.